again, this fucking thing keeps moving us in the wrong direction.
It knows who the boss is, applesauce.
Yeah, well, we know women rule the world, right? Apparently. We don't even know what women are anymore, but they know they rule the world. Yeah, so happy Friday, everybody. We are here for the Cannoli Connection, episode 4. We made it 4 weeks together, and we haven't killed each other yet. So that's always a positive. We're married and haven't killed each other yet, and we're doing a show together, which makes it even more stressful. We're still here. Today we got a special guest. This guy is blowing up on the YouTube scene. He's hilarious on Twitter. Good guy all around, makes great content and videos. I want to bring him on. We have the one and only RevRoma.
Good evening, sir.
Yes.
Good evening.
Well, thank you for coming on to the show for this lovely Friday.
I don't know what to think after such an illustrious greeting.
We build up. We build up here. That's what we're about. All about helping out the community, apparently. Or it could be bad for you. I don't know. We'll find out after the show.
I wish I had more hair, I just slick it back and be flirting and after all that.
Well, I know that you had a little trimming incident with your beard earlier today. I don't want to put any more pressure on you. So
actually, if you saw the hair too, yeah. No, that's for tomorrow. But I'm gonna admit I'm kind of cheap, which is why I had the issue. I'm like, man, I'm not paying great clips like $5-10 to trim my beard. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, you saw how that worked out.
That worked out well.
Well, don't sell yourself short. I've been cutting Cannoli's hair for, I don't know, at least 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's all down to the clippers. If you have a piece of shit clippers, you're going to make it. I get you.
Clippers do make a difference. We've had shitty ones. They're hard to cut the hair and it's been a mess. And I almost got to a point where I'm like, just to shave it all off as short as we could possibly get it, especially with the summer here. I'm in Arizona. So once the summer's hit, I don't need anything extra to make me hotter than they are.
Yeah, but don't sell me short. I actually have learned what I'm doing, and I do the fade. So like the back is like half into 1 into 2. And so I try to feel like I know what I'm doing.
We try to do a lot of things, pretend a lot. Even doing this show, we pretend a lot. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But anyway.
We're doing okay.
That's good though, because I usually get a fade. Usually.
Yeah, and I can do a fade. And the only time he actually went to get his hair done, which rightfully no, actually that was before he started doing short hair. Cannoli used to do, he had longer hair and he would do the Italian slick back. And so, if I don't know if you saw our wedding photo I posted, but he had hair. And so he did go and get fancied up for the wedding. He went to a barber shop, and which he should. And then it's when he went shorter, I started doing his hair.
Yeah, this is the things you do for love. It's amazing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, real quick. I just wanted to go ahead and get through the chat real quick and say hello to everybody who has showed up so far, and just kind of go through. Hello, Steven Ransom, my man, my movie man over here. I'm gonna have you on our Monday show eventually. We'll have fun doing movie reviews. Subtle Deviancy, this guy, the wordsmith, I call him on Twitter because the guy is just is a dictionary when he talks, but he's amazing. I love the man. R2 the Icky, what's up, R2? Don't tell me I'm late. It's my show.
It was kind of my fault. I'm not feeling good. I delayed the whole thing. You're lucky I'm here. How about them apples?
We have Mama Cannoli Sasquatch wishing everybody saying we're looking good and having fun and ready to go. Zax, what's up, Zax? Thanks for showing up, buddy. Let's see here. Let's just kind of go through real quick and see if we can. Okay, the Sasquatch cheers. Yes, thank you, Zax. We appreciate you. Thank you for shopping by. I know Fridays are a little crazy for everybody, especially on the West Coast. Like here, it's weird time. Everybody's getting off.
We moved our time early, and so it's just weird.
With the daylight savings, just threw everything off. Once the time switched, I hate it. We don't even deal with it, and I hate it. So I don't know what part of
everybody around us, so it affects us. It all the shows, like we can't go on certain shows now because of the time change.
Well, if I do, I have to go on late because I work till 5, and it's like shows are starting at 5 now.
Yeah.
I don't know what part of the country you're at. I'm guessing you're on the East Coast time there, Rev.
Yeah, I'm Eastern Standard Time now. So it's 9:13 13 right now.
Yeah, that's So
Yeah.
thanks, Steve. Steven wants to be stuffed.
Not me and the cannoli.
I don't know what that means, Steven, but I'll do my best. Hey,
Oh, look who showed up. Frankie.
Another guy, back east. I love Frankie. He tries to listen to our shows. Again, a guy who works early, so he tries to catch us every time he can. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you
Good to
stopping
see you,
by.
Frankie.
So Mr. Roma, do I call you RevRoma? Do I call you, like, is there a nickname, or do you just want to be called RevRoma? I just want to make sure I get it right.
Lately, especially, you and I were talking about the sumo beforehand. He likes to call me Roma, so that seems to be
Roma's the popular. I like that. I like it. Hey, PCAT, what's up, buddy? Yeah, daylight savings time is evil and it needs to end. They've been trying to end. The government doesn't do a lot of things that I agree with. That's the only thing lately that I agree with is the end daylight savings time. But even that they can't agree on. So what a shock. What a shock. So since we're all here on a Friday night, just real quick, I want to get people to understand and know the Mr. Roma. So let me ask you a question. When did you start doing YouTube? Because your channel's doing very well. Your videos do well. So when did you start this journey?
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. Stephen Ransom might actually remember me. Once upon a time, I was on here off and on. I was under a different name, but I was just kind of clowning around, really. I was part of the Legion of Memers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And
sorry.
It's fine. No,
I don't know what that is.
That and it's funny because it says we interrupted, and that's actually my oldest son. So he's good.
Oh, I was like, what is that?
Well, hello.
Okay,
yeah, that's
I was reading it like, I didn't even know that they were playing, but good for them.
yeah, that's he's good at interrupting. No, I love him.
All right.
He's a good kid. No, I bring that up because Stephen, if you look at the thumbnail, you will notice my old logo incorporated in that. I was under an old name, but like I said, I was just kind of clowning around, and I had a little bit of a health scare at the end of last year. I had gone to the meetup in Orlando back at the end of October. Come back, was having a little bit of a health scare, and it's like, I'm going to take some time off from everything. Unfortunately, some things differed, and I left the Legion, took time off for the health thing, and came back. And honestly, originally, I wasn't even going to get on YouTube. Like, I had a bad go with YouTube when I was on here with the Legion. I was just messing around, making shorts more than anything. And, I do the Legion stream a couple of times. And I just had a real bad go with YouTube and their algorithm, and they just really suppressed me. So I was like, I'm done, man. I'm just done. But, and I'm going to pull a Gary Neurotic on this one, because I know I'm going to slur her name together. Horror Amarata.
Yeah.
I feel like I got to say that. No, God love her. She knows. Awesome. I was actually talking with her about a couple of things, and I was like, you know what? I really I hate YouTube, which is funny because we're on here. I'd rather just be on Rumble, but she's like, you know what? Since you're starting out like with your solo thing and doing it like this, I think YouTube's better for initial discovery.
Sure.
And I was like, all right. So, I had this whole thing, and technically, I say technically because when I say the next part, people always kind of look at it weird. I am technically an ordained reverend, which obviously is where I got reverend, but I'm not, I'm non-denominational. If you've ever seen the show Preacher.
Oh, yeah.
I'm more like him, right?
Oh, I love Preacher, so that's good.
I'm very, gun friendly, and I'm probably more likely to be the arse whooping.
Fight demons from hell. Do you do that, or is
there's certain things that I can't talk about. Obviously, it's more like the order in that sense.
I gotcha.
And honestly, how it really kind of came about, we had
Copa?
talked a little bit backstage. Oddly enough, just kind of like on a whim, because I was talking with Jeremy Wormy. We met in the Legion, and he was reviewing Velma at the time, and I was like, could it be that bad? Could Velma be this so terribly bad? Yeah, like I smashed demons. All that. Only if they're good looking, Copa. Only if they're good.
Yeah.
Smashing.
The hot ones, yeah.
Right. So just kind of like on a whim, I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch these first 4 episodes that were out at the time. I'm gonna give my thoughts on it. I think I got like 70 something views. I never even thought I'd get that. It was like my first thing.
Sure.
And it was like a very short breakdown on each episode. And then the whole Eliza Blue and Brittany Venti thing kicked off. And I was actually following Eliza Blue at the time because Sumo Orange was following her, and me and him would talk. And initially I was like, oh wow, this lady's doing this great thing. She's trying to get trying to be careful with my words because of YouTube. That's my youngest. That's my youngest son.
Hello, Farmer Bob 12.
Farmer Bob.
Welcome. We'll try to keep it kid friendly. No cursing today.
Well, our kid would be in the chat too, but I think she's taking a nap.
So Roma, I just want you to know that if you do, and I forgot to mention this, if you do say something on here, we are on Rumble as well right now at the same time. So God forbid YouTube takes us down. Everybody can go to Rumble. And by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh no.
This is a great story. I do want to hear this. Rumble. So we're on Rumble. Rumble allows donations and memberships now from day one. So I didn't know that until Wednesday. So if you want to go to Rumble and subscribe there, you can to the channel. And then you can also donate. I think it's $5 a month if you want to hear the content. I got a lot of stuff planned for Rumble coming up. I got conspiracy theory streams we're doing over there. And there's going to be more, maybe some gaming in the future on Rumble strictly.
Please donate. I have to pay off my hearing aids.
She has hearing aids that we have to pay off. So, yeah. So if you want to go, and also Roma's information is in the description, all his links, Twitter, all that stuff. So, and then again, my Rumble streams on there. So if you don't want to check us out on YouTube, you don't want to give them the satisfaction, go to Rumble. That is in the chat as well. Click there and you can donate if you want. And then anyway, sorry, go ahead, Roma.
No, you're fine. Oh, I'll get on a tirade if you don't stop me.
No, I just wanted because I would forget, but no, this is good. I like what you're saying. So go ahead, buddy.
So trying to remember what was like. See, because my kids interrupted me, and see, my oldest says RevRoma kid friendly. Like he knows. They're both basically teenagers.
Yeah, ours is going to be 15 on Monday. So
yeah, so she's heard worse.
She's heard worse.
See, so there you go. But like at the time she was on that whole child imagery on Twitter campaign. I was like, you know what? That's really admirable. And she says she's this great free speech advocate, and I'm all about free speech. And then I was like, cool, I'm gonna toss her a follow. Well, January 19th, 20th rolls around, and I wasn't following Brittany Venti. There was there's a lot of people that I used to follow but hadn't really started following again as I'd come back to Twitter. Right. Like I said, I was starting over with everything.
Right.
And the next I know, Jeremy from the Quartering, he starts talking about Brittany had been, booted off of Twitter. And I'm like, well, what the hell? And then he gets booted. And I'm like, the hell are these two getting booted for? And then I come to find out, they're booted for showing a screenshot from this Eliza Knows video. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Well, so she's not this great free speech person. And like my first, I don't remember the amount of views because it kind of like blew up from there. But I did the first thing and I was like, I'm going to look at this thing. because I'm confused. I'm going to see, I played just enough of the video. I think I stopped it before you could even see her arse hanging out all over the place. I was like, okay, that's obviously her. Why is she trying to say that she shouldn't be talked to about this, and that she owns it was obviously world star hip hop.
Yeah.
And for some reason that seemed to click with people. And, I kept covering it because it was this big thing and I was getting views and I was interested in it because, like I said, I'm all about free speech. And here was this lady who, was saying she's this big free speech advocate. And, then things kept progressing. And I think the big one seemed to be when Tim Pool went off the deep end about her, because I guess someone sent him a super chat saying that he should say something.
Yeah, he went off.
He had his little meltdown, and it was like the middle of the night. I was like, you know what? This is bullshit. I'm going to hop on, make a video. Because I knew Dermy was upset because, he watches Tim more than I ever did. I was never that much in the Tim Pool, but I'm like, dude, how are you going to just crap on your fans like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I make this video and I don't expect it to really do anything. And next I know, it's got like 12,500 views. And I think I gained off of that like 200 and something subs off that one.
Good job, man.
Video. Like, I'll be blunt and honest, man. Like I was just, what's up, AJ? Like I was just kind of like pissed how he treated fans.
Yeah.
I never expected it. It was just probably wasn't even that long of a video. And I was, he has,
I have a friend named Tim too. I know what he means.
Yeah. Fair point. I'm not a Tim, so he's not talking smack about his own. He'll do that on his own. Now, Copa, I just caught that. Keep in mind, Jesse Custer type of reverend.
Yeah, Jesse Custer was kick ass. I
like that.
Definitely. Yep.
I am a Jesse Custer type. But yeah, I was kind of heated, and I'm like, dude. Basically, with YouTube language, but I'm basically like, what the man? Like, my friends like watching you. I've henceforth referred to him as Beanie Boy, but like that one video just blew up, and then like I had another Eliza one do like 9,000 views, and I think my last big one was the whole Angry Joe and Eric July thing. And I really never thought that was going to do anything because I haven't watched Angry Joe in, I couldn't tell you how long.
It's been a long time for me too. He kind of lost me on it. And
like I get his shtick is angry, and sometimes it was funny, but I was just like, dude, why are you going in on Eric July? And then next I know that's got 7,000 views, and I'm like, man, I'm just a guy who I still occasionally make memes, not like I used to. I'm just a guy giving his opinion on here. Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Try to be real with people,
No, that's the whole point, man. And that's what I like about people like you, that it's authentic. We always talk about authenticity in this on this platform. You could tell I'm going to curse here, people. You're going to tell the bullshit artists from the people who are authentic and real. So I gravitate towards the real people. And I can tell immediately when I watch a video and go, okay, this guy's speaking from the heart. He's passionate about this. I like it. So and then again, so you're talking about something you're seeing, especially the whole Eliza Blue thing. That thing went nuts for a while. And then there was, and then even, a lot of people were commenting on the Crowder thing with the Daily Wire, of course. So it's okay to strike while the iron's hot. If you want to discuss the subject, and the algorithm's going to love it, and that's great, and good for you for doing it. And people actually gravitated towards you for that. So you deserved. I watched a lot of. I went back and did a backlog watch of your stuff, and you deserved all the recognition because I like the videos. They're real. They're not over edited. They're not. It's just you speaking your opinion, and I actually absolutely love that about people on this platform. So good for you. I'm just going to go to the chat real quick. There's some new
Yeah,
people.
there's been a lot of people stopping in.
Jenna, what up, my friend?
AJ stopped by.
Jacob, I saw Abomination. AJ dropped by. Let's see who else. Jacob, I said Jacob, didn't I? I said yes. Thank you for the Cannoli. Hypnotic. Thank you, Hypnotic, for dropping in, dude. Appreciate you stopping by. Definitely. My girl Vex.
How about that?
You missed a really nice comment. Hold on.
Who?
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought she was talking about me.
Well, you always look beautiful.
What about me and Roma? Roma and I look beautiful, don't we?
Well, hold on. Right there. Vex said that.
Oh, there you go. Oh, there. Yeah. See, I can't do the thick. I can't get the thickness.
He tried to grow a beard a while back, and when he kept looking at JT's beard, JT Gunn, he's like, I just don't think I can compete.
I couldn't do the. I can't get the thickness. It fills out, but not. And I got like gray hair everywhere, so it was just I look like Santa Claus. Look like an Italian Santa Claus.
You can't tell it too much right here, but yeah, especially the part that I ended up shaving was getting pretty gray. And
yeah,
see, I'm checking the chat to see if my kids still there. I blame them.
Vex, why can't I be called beautiful? I guess you're right. It is kind of sus for a man to be called beautiful.
Well, no, that's she's actually
handsome.
If you want to identify as a woman at the moment, we can tell you you're beautiful.
Well, speaking, we're going to get into who identifies as what later on when we get deeper into conversations. But yeah, maybe I want to feel beautiful today. Vex, you ever think about that?
Yeah,
you can be whatever you want.
Yeah. Let's see who else real quick. Be a man, Jesus.
Be a man.
You know what? Here's what I've talked about this before. You know why I love Vex, Copa, especially Whitey? Why I gathered this group together, because they will call me out for my bullshit, and I love that about them, because you need people like that around you.
But here's the thing: I call you out for your bullshit, but then if they call you out on your bullshit, and I've said the same thing, you listen to them.
It's not that I don't listen to you. But yeah, maybe I don't all the time.
No, I'm just glad somebody points you in the right direction. I don't care who it is. But you're right. I have to say, we were talking about this today, just the community that we've joined with this YouTube thing. I've made some really good friendships, and
they're
it's
lying
nice
to you.
to have the group of people that are all on the same page with you. It's easy. It's just, this has been great.
Well, that's what I mean. Like when you meet the people like you guys, it's much easier to do this job, or not even a job. It's just fun. So you get to meet people like you, have them on a show, get to know them better. So do you only do stuff that's mostly based off what you see, or is it political stuff? Because I see a lot of that, which is great. Or do you just kind of go with the flow, and whatever kind of hits you want to talk about, you'll make a video about? Do you just kind of do you try to stick to one specific thing, or stay in a certain wheelhouse?
Well, I mean, like, I like to think that I try to cover a bit different things. But I actually did a poll recently on my community tab, and, I put out a few things. I'm like, YouTube's kind of messing with me, or at least that's what I was thinking at the time, as YouTube likes to do. I was like, I'm just going to put it out there. I'm going to be like, here's the few things that I've kind of talked about. And, I put the Twitter stuff, like, Eliza and this other stuff between people. And then there was, at the time, it was before the Trump indictment. And it was, see, I'm in Ohio. So I talked about the train derailment. So that was like an option. And then I think the third one was kind of like more of the AI voice stuff. And I was like, what would you guys rather me talk about? And like the Twitter stuff was, I think 60-something%. And then, like the next two were really small. So I try to cover what the subscribers and that would like me to, but still, if I find something interesting, I'm going to talk about it.
Sure.
I hear that can mess with things, but I rather, again, try to be authentic. And I say try because you have to play the language game with YouTube.
Yes.
So I feel like it kind of hangs up my thoughts, because more often than not, I will screw up and cuss in the videos. But when you're trying to play along, sometimes I'm afraid it's not getting the right thought across.
Right.
Because I'll be thinking ahead and I'll be like, I really want to cuss here, but then YouTube's going to be like, hey, buddy, dial it down a notch. And then I'll be looking at my counter that I'll have on the right side of the screen, and I'll be like, well, I'm over 10 seconds into the video. Supposedly I can cuss now. I mean, I'm not monetized yet anyway, but
still, it's frustrating when you have to kind of watch that stuff, because I have heard people say that when they were doing this whole thing not long ago about their new policy about cursing and certain words, and people were saying it was like first 7 to 10 seconds, and then it was after, and then it could be like 2 minutes into the stream, their video, they were saying a curse word, and YouTube was demonetizing their videos and their old videos. And there's a lot of stuff that misinformation that they put out, and they change their minds all constantly. So I actually had to reach out while the channel is still, again, I'm not monetized either. God knows when that'll happen. If it does, it does. But when I got to a certain amount of subscribers, I was like, what, I've been hearing so many conflicting things about what to do with my channel. If I do I not, because what I was doing is mostly the live streams, right? And then I would clip out parts of those streams, put an intro behind it, put an outro behind it, and then put them out. And then out of nowhere, I was doing this for a long time, and out of nowhere, people are like, don't do that, because it's going to trick the algorithm. When you try to get monetized, they're going to say you're just reusing content. I'm like, okay. So I talked to a bunch of different content creators, some in this chat, some that I really admire and respect, and I was getting a lot of different information. And it got to the point where I got some advice on how to tweak the shorts and tweak the clips just enough to where they don't consider it reused. So I went back to doing that. Hey, Common Idiot is in the chat. What's up, Common Idiot? Appreciate you dropping by, buddy.
Go back to Hypnotic. I think this.
Yeah, so Hypnotic says, don't make videos to please the algorithm gods. You will never win, and you'll never understand why you lost. It's true. It's best to make what you want and make enjoy. Yeah, and that's the thing. And that's what I've kind of gotten to the point. I don't do a lot of pre-recorded stuff. Number one, because I'm not good at it. And number two, it's just not a strength. It's just timing. So going forward with this new Friday format that I'm doing, I will have some time. So I might play around with some editing and do some pre-recorded stuff. And then there's like, playing games on the channel once in a while. I've heard that's not a good thing, because you're throwing the algorithm off in the chat. YouTube doesn't know what your channel is at that point, how to recommend it. So it got frustrating, but I got to a point where I was like, I'll make stuff I want to make. And if people like it, great. If I got monetized for it, great. If I don't, I'll cross that bridge when it comes. But Hypnotic is right. I've gotten to the point with enough guidance now. It's like, just make videos you want to make. And yes, if you want to, some people feel like you have to play the game with the algorithm once in a while. We did John Wick reviews for the whole month of March, and our numbers were really well on our Monday stream, because it's a popular, each week, each show got a little more views because it's a popular topic. We genuinely wanted to talk about the movies. We liked the movies. So we figured, why not? Let's just do a John Wick month. It just makes sense. And it worked. I know, Copa and Vex, especially on my Monday team with me, doing Mandalorian reviews recently, doing a lot of current video game stuff. And they're killing it. So, but they're actually passionate about what they're talking about. So, do focus niche content at the start till you end up in a YouTube category. After that point, you can start experimenting. But if you're very too early, see, that's the problem I was kind of having. So for now, that's why I'm doing the Monday show as a movie show, and this is like a chat show, and just getting to know people. And then, yes, I'm trying to hone that in, and then we'll see where it goes. But I like it. Speaking of that, I wanted to bring this up because I know you saw this last week, because it was your birthday, correct? Last week.
Well, it was the day after.
When was your birthday?
The 23rd.
Oh, I was the 25th. I thought I heard you mention your birthday was in March. Okay.
Yeah, and then the 24th, both my boys went with me to see John Wick 4, and that's what he's referring to. But without giving any spoilers away to anybody who may not have seen it, we both kind of agreed we weren't that big on the ending.
Did you like the movie overall, though? Like, did you like the first three movies?
I did. Yeah, I loved them.
Yeah, a
love
lot of
them.
action. It's great. I think when we did our review, the consensus was no matter how outrageous it got, it's still fun to watch because it's just done so well. The action's done so well. My only problem with I think starting into 3 was that it was starting to get into that superhero territory where the guy just can't die. He's doing like ridiculous stuff, but then I got to remind myself, like, all right, it's they built up this universe now, and to do that, like he's jumping out of windows and he's crashing, like in the what was it, the third movie when he gets shot off the rooftop and just literally falls hundreds of feet.
Yeah,
and I was in the when I was in the movie theater, I was like, really? And I just got to remind myself, okay, this is where they're going with this franchise now. So, whatever, it is what it is. But even the fourth movie, they stepped up that. They went up a notch. I mean, they really went all out for the action scenes. And it was fun. Especially, I don't know that, I mean, not to give it away, but that one scene towards the end where they're doing the overhead shot and they're showing him going room to room. I thought that was great.
Yeah. With the dragon breath
shotgun. The dragon's breath shotgun, which I want one so bad now.
Right?
Yeah, it does transmute into fantasy. So it was kind of like this one was really in the part when they're in that French circle in Paris where the cars are. It's like, but you really got to suspend disbelief because even Fast and the Furious, I said it's getting to Fast and the Furious territory now, where it's just like so outlandish. Is it even fun to watch anymore? I'll give Wick its due. I still like it. I love Keanu Reeves, and it was a long movie. Overall, I liked it though. I don't know. Like I said, I still think the first one is the best one. That's just me. But
yeah, I agree. It's just about to look something up because I was going to say what I was bummed out about. The Japanese guy. I actually, speaking of Keanu Reeves and that, I loved 47 Ronin.
Yeah, solid movie.
I couldn't think of this guy's name. And watch, I'm going to have a tough time finding him. Here we go. I'm just gonna butcher this. Hiroyuki Sanada.
I think you got it pretty good. It's pretty good.
I love that guy. And so I was bummed about how it worked out with him because, like I said, I really liked 47 Ronin and they were in that together. It seems like that guy often gets the shaft quite a bit, at least when I'm catching movies with him. So when I didn't know he was in this one, and when I seen him show up, I was like, yes, yeah. But shortly thereafter, I'm like, no.
Yeah, I liked him too. I first got introduced to him. I should have been earlier, but I think he was in The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, he was.
It's been a while since I.
I mean, that was another great movie. I think that's where I got into. But he's been in a few other things. He was even in a video game, the Cyberpunk 2077 video game, and so he's been a lot, and he is fantastic. And his scenes early on were pretty good. That whole setup with the Japan Continental thing was awesome. But he always plays a badass. And then of course you had right. Yeah, he was right. Yeah. He like hated him in the beginning, and they became friends. And but he's usually pretty good. But I don't know. I think the franchise, if it had to end, this is it. Like, please just end.
Well, it sounds like it's not though.
Well, that's what I was going to talk about, because today there was an article out saying that now because it's so successful, they're talking about doing a fifth. So it's like, wait. Well, I'm not going to spoil it for people who haven't seen it, but the ending is you would think it's pretty.
Listen, it ties it up nicely in a little bow. Leave it alone. Do prequels. Do all that other garbage, but they ended it nicely. Just be done.
Well,
as much as I'd like to see more, I just feel like they ended it on. I don't know. Well, I don't want to spoil it either, but
they kind of did, and again, without really giving it away for anyone. Like my oldest said, they kind of did leave it open if you think about it,
right?
Because of where you last see things, and to the next. See, because I'm trying to be very careful with it. They left it open.
Yeah,
where
they did.
They did. You're right, but they also left it where it could be done too. So I see what they're doing, but it's
this guy.
I don't know.
This guy,
I know.
Listen, AJ. You know what? I always say about AJ. He's so honest with with his opinions. I gotta respect him, even if they're bad opinions. Like liking Batman and Robin the movie with George Clooney.
Oh,
Then again, I gotta give him this though. He hasn't seen this in a long time, like since he was a kid. So I gotta give him credit. I'll give him a pass until he rewatches it, because if he rewatches it again, tells me he likes it, then me and AJ are gonna go on his channel. I'm gonna have problems with him.
Well, I mean, I guess it depends what part. I mean, I used to have a thing for Uma Thurman, if I'm honest.
Well, that's fine. Well, that's different. I mean, that's one thing to watch a scene or a movie because you like an actor or actress, but to like say the movie was good.
Well, that's true.
Is where I draw the
That's
line.
true.
What does this say? Santa is actually getting his own. Oh, Sonata is actually getting his own show called The Shogun. Oh, nice.
Who was that? Which one was that, Greg? I mean, Cannoli. Sorry.
That was the guy we were just talking about, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Japanese.
What's his name again?
Leader.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The head of the hotel.
The Osaka
Continental,
okay.
which would be awesome. They're also doing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if everybody's into the video game stuff, but there was a game that came out, Ghost of Tsushima, for PlayStation, and they're making a movie out of that. I thought I read that he was having a role in that movie too, but I wasn't 100% sure, which would make sense.
Always iffy about the video game movies. So
me too, dude. Me too. Even the Mario thing coming out, and whether or not you're into animation or it's like, I think because Nintendo had a heavy hand in it, it's going to be good because they had a big say in the production. Don't ruin my childhood, please. Don't get it. Don't go woke. Don't do all this bullshit that you're doing today to make everybody inclusive. Give me Mario. Give me the world he built up in the games, and stick to that. Stick to that. If I'm gonna go watch your movie, don't make me cry in the movie theater because it's gonna ruin my childhood.
Right?
Yeah,
they're always messing with our childhood.
Well, of course, because they have nothing else. I'm gonna love it even more the second time, and it'll disappoint. No, you're not gonna love it because it's trash. Batman and Robin is absolute trash. AJ, God, man, this freaking werewolves, man, can't trust them. John Wick 4 should have ended the same. The Legend of John Wick. Maybe Fred Savage reading to Carl.
It's Donnie Yen's daughter is going to write a book about, his character and John Wick.
Okay,
and that's who's gonna.
And he was great.
Oh yeah,
Donnie Yen was freaking great in the movie. It was fun. But if it ended there, I wouldn't be disappointed. Listen, if there's a fifth one, I'm gonna go see it. We're all gonna go see it, no matter how much. We're all gonna go see it.
Yeah.
And that's how Fast and the Furious got 10 movies. Just saying.
Is there a specific genre of movies that you stick to watching, or are you kind of like open ended? You'll watch whatever.
Anymore, it seems like I'm getting a little more open ended, especially when you have kids. Like I took the oldest to see that godforsaken Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Oh God!
I want his birthday. But I will say this: the nice thing about it, even though it was really short, and it was weird because it was Winnie the Pooh. It felt to me more like the older horror movies.
Yeah.
And I hate to be that guy because someone's going to say something. But in the 80s, you had kind of like that telltale formula with horror movies. You had, if you're having sex, doing drugs, yada yada yada, something's going to happen. And Winnie the Pooh kind of did that, except for this time it was more don't leave your imaginary friends to go off to college, don't come back with your wife, don't go with your girlfriends to a retreat in the 100-acre woods.
Just don't do any of that.
Yeah, so okay. It's like the same idea, just set in the 100-acre woods. And I don't know. It depends really for me. Like I'm trying to think of what movies I've really seen theater wise.
There, your son is correcting you.
Slashers. That's what kids do. That's what kids
watch
do.
What happens if you talk sports around him. It gets worse. That's why his name is United States of Sports.
What's his favorite sport?
All of them.
He just likes all of them.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong, he'll correct me, but He watches a lot more than I do.
He answered for you.
Football. Well, I mean, I was giving you the benefit of the doubt, son. You do watch pretty much everything. I even, God help me, he was even watching the World Cup, and I just can't get into it.
Yeah, that one's tough.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. Thanks for dropping by, Hypnotic. I appreciate you, man. I'll be watching you a little bit on Saturday on your stream, so appreciate you, dude. Yeah, football. He says football, like football.
Yes,
not European.
Football.
Our football.
No, yeah, not football.
Football. Okay, so wait, you're on Ohio. So is it the Bengals or the Browns?
Well, that's the funny thing for both of us is he is predominantly a Chiefs fan.
Oh, okay.
I am predominantly a Niners fan.
Wow. Okay.
I say this because I grew up watching the Niners with my dad. He spent a little time in California, in San Francisco, so I grew up watching them with him. But we're not super far from Cincinnati, so every so often I'll go and catch a Bengals game, and I'll cheer them on when I'm there.
He's got to hear baseball. Okay, I love you already because baseball is my number one. So you got me there. I used to love basketball. The NBA and me don't really jive anymore, but I do understand as far as a younger. Yeah, totally get it. But baseball for sure. So who's the baseball team then that he roots
Boston
for?
Red Sox for him.
Oh God.
Yeah. Oh, he's all over the map.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Talk about. Janice says men's rugby is a sexy sport. Okay. Oh, it is a manly sport.
And then her husband commented with, "Oh wait, sorry, wrong
That's
one."
not. Well, I don't think Stevens are. Yeah.
There you go.
That's how she. Never mind. I'm not gonna say.
I was about to say, man. Like, careful, you're gonna end up with another one already.
Yeah, I was gonna say, be careful. I used to be surrounded by Niners fans, and now I'm surrounded by Chiefs fans. Yeah. I'm in Arizona, so I'm surrounded by everybody. Like everybody, I know the Cardinals play here, but we're like, it's such a melting pot of people from around the country. Just everybody who roots for everybody lives here. It's amazing. People from
rugby ain't sexy. It's
well, people think that's sexy. I guess I don't know. Yeah. So So I'm kind of like you. Like when my daughter was younger. When she was a baby, we still you could still kind of watch some of the same stuff. As she got older, though, it was all before Disney was trash. This is years ago, so she's going to be 15. So when she was getting to that age, Disney wasn't turning yet. But I still had to fight through the Disney stuff, like the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and all this shit. And it's amazing the stuff you put yourself through and have to watch with your kids. And then as they get old enough to start watching the PG stuff, and then maybe the even PG-13, you're like, okay, now I'm getting back into my territory. But it just depends. I don't know. Ooh, AJ prefers cricket. Yeah, I could see AJ liking cricket. Yeah, so like with sports and me, it's weird, like as you get older with the sports. I don't know how you feel, but like taking the time to actually watch the sports is a big deal. With working and YouTube now, it's a little tougher, but in general, how sports has changed with the politics in the country, it kind of takes a little bit of that joy away. And baseball started it. COVID did a whole number on sports, and then now the NFL is just basically it's crazy. So like, can you differentiate though? Like, do you try to put it aside, or is it always there? Like, oh God, they're just throwing this in your face. It's hard to stick with this. I don't know how you feel, but I know people who just gave up on sports. They're like, I'm done. I don't want any politics in my sports. I can't do this anymore.
I think it kind of all depends, but for me, I need an outlet, And
I agree there.
When you grow up watching something, and keep in mind, I'm a Niners fan, so I had to deal with the Colin Kaepernick stuff and all that, and I just I brush it aside. And once you bring out socks where you're depicting cops as pigs and that, I'm like, you know what he does before the game, that's his business. It's whatever to me, as long as he's not throwing 4 interceptions a game. But the guy's gone for a reason, and it's not because of his stance on things.
Oh, he stinks as a football player.
Yeah. So
But he knew how to advertise himself. He knew how to play the game and use the corporations to his advantage. Now, recently, he was calling out his adopted parents, saying that they were part of the
I heard about that, and I hate to say it, but I blame the girlfriend. You know,
she's the problem. Yeah.
Well, she was the big activist. Is her, you know, and he was this. I hate to say normal, but you know, he was just this regular guy out there playing the game, and then it's like he met her, and then and now you see it, and I think for me, you know, I really kind of just blow him off for the most part because now he's just out here trying to act like it's something he's being held down. And like, dude, look at your stats. But then, like you said, for him to come out and say that stuff about his adoptive parents and like, dude, who hasn't had their parents say something to him about their hair?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah,
you know, I've had green hair and blue hair.
It's unfortunate that we're in this point where everything. It's very frustrating. We had Hara Murata on last week. We had a great discussion with her about just the whole political landscape, the country, where we're headed, where we're going, and it's just every time I get online, it's like, oh my god. I know things are maybe exaggerated, but it's like, are they really though? With the whole things with the kids and the transgender stuff and both sides of the political spectrum fighting with each other, and I was like, this is nothing. And wait till next year, and the next year after that, when the election comes up. Now with Trump, okay, getting to that with him getting indicted now. I know you made a video about that. And then now with the Tennessee tragedy, now the gun grab everywhere you go. Nobody's talking about the actual issues. It's just guns. Get the guns out. So I don't know where you stand on the Second Amendment issue, but like, do you see when you see this happen? And you made a great video, by the way. If you want to check it out, go on his channel. It's in the description. He made a great video about the policemen who were the heroes that day and how they responded. And it's like, I don't understand why the left especially has to keep pounding the fact that it's the firearm. I know why, but it's not the right argument. And then when you have people say, no, let's talk about these other, no, they're just dismissive. Like, where do you stand on that? Like, do you just get frustrated and go, you want to shake them and go, shut up and actually listen?
Oh, you know, like I said, I very much am the Jesse Custer type because, you know, unfortunately, I wasn't able to serve in the military. When I was 18, you know, I'll just be blunt and honest. I was fat as hell. You know, I don't know how old you two are now, and I will never try to guess anybody's age.
Well, not to the woman. You can guess mine.
Well, yeah, let's just say I'm going to fathom that we're all around the same age.
Sure.
Yeah.
And when I was a teenager, you know, McDonald's still had the supersized stuff. And it's a lot, especially now that I have my own kids, I know it's a lot easier to feed them fast food money-wise than a healthy meal. You try to be healthy, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But where I'm going with that is everybody, every male really in my family served. See, he's a smart ass because he knows how old I am.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. He's very close. So we'll go there.
Well, hey, you did good, son.
Yeah, we're Cannoli and I are the same age for the moment. So
yeah,
until he gets older in May.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, you know, I always say both my grandfathers were World War II Marines.
Wow.
My dad was in Vietnam in the Navy. His older brother was Air Force. My mom's brother is Army. So basically I grew up with like every branch around me. And for quite a while now, I've been going shooting with my uncle. In fact, that's what I was doing on my birthday. So I'm very pro Second Amendment. True. And, you know, I always try to put out there that, you know, with firearms, I'm all for proper training. And now I'm not saying mandated. Obviously, if I'm taking my kids, I'm going to properly train them.
100%.
But with firearms, they can't just act on their own. And that's what a lot of these people want to act like. And like I discussed in that video about the officers, I actually went to school for law enforcement.
Right.
And I had to do a report, one of my last classes on school shootings, and mine was on Virginia Tech. Now, granted, it's been, God, how long? 12-ish years, 11, 12 years since I took that class and gave the report. So this is going off the top of my head. Virginia Tech was carried out with 2 handguns. If I recall correctly, it was a Glock 19 and a Walter P22. That's off the top of my head. But these are both handguns, right? But everyone wants to keep bringing up, AR, and like, let's be honest, there's no such thing as an assault rifle. Assault's an action. They act like these are fully automatic weapons. They're not. The handguns are semi-automatic. And like I said, with Virginia Tech, that was very much, unfortunately, 30 plus individuals lost their lives before Cho, I think was his name. Again, this is going off the top of my head, took his life. He took his life before the cops could reach him. And that's usually what happens most of the time. So it's like people, especially like David Hogg, who keeps showing up all over my timeline.
That guy's so annoying.
They keep pushing and pushing and pushing that it's these ARs and that. But keep in mind, there was all these weapon bans before, especially during the Clinton years. And when I was a freshman in high school, Columbine happened.
Yep.
And that was, there's the weapon bans and all that. But at the end of the day, for me, it's a tool. And if someone wants to do something, they're going to do it. And, we could get into the statistics of who dies for what way. And that's true. Like, more people are likely to be bludgeoned with a blunt instrument like a hammer than a lot of other things. You're more likely to be shot in certain parts of Chicago than anything. And so with me, obviously, I'm very pro Second Amendment because I grew up with it. And like I said, I'm just tired of hearing all these people who are like AR. And I'm like, dude, all you're making me do is want to go and buy another one because I know what happened when Obama was in office. People were talking about there was going to be this confiscation and the price blew up. And now they're trying to act like that's going to happen again. And like you said, look at what happened in the Tennessee Capitol building. What was that, yesterday? They won't call it an insurrection, but they stormed the state capitol and, demanding something to be done about firearms.
It's only an insurrection if one side,
right,
or what they deem as one side, does it. But these people would be called heroes by a certain political demographic because of the cause, and then it's the right talking points for what the media wants to talk about and what the certain politicians want. It's just ridiculous. But you're not wrong. I think as far as the firearm thing, it's important. My father was a retired cop, so New York City cop of all things. So shit he's seen. But very pro Second Amendment, very pro country. I mean, again, you call out the faults where they are. I think you're right. I think training is extremely important with firearms. You should definitely not just get a gun to get a gun. If you're going to use it to protect your family or even recreational, like going to a shooting range, know the ins and outs, get enough practice, how to manipulate the weapon, how to clean the weapon, and to treat it not as a toy. It's not. It could be fun, but it doesn't mean that it's a toy. You should just willy nilly, spin around in your hand like a Western.
My dumbass would probably shoot myself if I.
That's what I point. I mean,
if I tried to get with it.
Yeah, I was lucky to have when I worked with a guy I'm still good friends with. He was ex-military. He was an Army veteran, infantry soldier. So the first thing he told me, he's like, "You're not touching that thing until I get it first. to show you how it's done properly, how to manipulate it, how to check the safety, check the ammo, how to make sure I was like, okay. And it was great. It was a great learning lesson. And it's humbling because you think you're just going to go out to the range and start shooting guns. And it's like, oh, fun. And there's a lot of stuff that you have to do to prep beforehand. So even Mrs. Cannoli, she was a little intimidated at first because it was new to us, but you do respect the weapon and the power it has. And it's not like you want to use it, but it's better to be trained than not be trained. That's all I got to say. And we're lucky we live in a state that's constitutional carry where you can't carry. But
for now, though. For now.
Yeah, with our governor, I don't know where the future of things are going to go now. The states getting a little weird with its politics.
It's slowly turning purple.
Oh, it is purple, and a lot of it is. I don't know how much. I don't know, how much of that is actual genuine. We'll just talk about the actual voting process, how it's a little shady here, and has been for a while. Is it as big a state that it is? It's still ass backwards in a lot of ways.
You guys probably get a lot of the California exodus too.
I think that's a big part of it. I think the problem is we're getting the shitty California people, and they're only a state over. So if you're going to go to another state that's more affordable, has less restrictions, you're going to go 5 hours, 6 hours away, and where you can visit home anytime you want. Problem I have about that, and we always talk about this, is why the F are you going to move to a state that you left from a state that forced you out because of finances and government policies, and you're going to vote the same goddamn way? It drives me up a wall.
Stupid. They think they can do it better here, and they think that they can just have everything that they want here, and they can just bully us. But R2 is right. Our governor's press secretary, remember what did the tweet that she put out the other day?
Did you see this? Roma? But she basically was like, "Oh yeah, just basically go out and attack everybody who's anti-trans physically, like go out and hurt them." And she had to backtrack, and she got fired.
I don't know what it was from. It was probably
a meme or something from somewhere, and she put a different text to it. But I thought it was somebody holding a gun. I'm not sure.
It was a GIF of a woman with 2 handguns, and it sets up along the lines of what we do when we see transphobes, and basically everyone called her out on it. And then the next day she resigned. I always feel like I gotta, because I don't buy it. I hate to say it. I'm sure she's got some backdoored job somewhere.
Of course, she'll be on CNN soon.
The whole thing of all of this is, and I need to have a stream on Rumble because I'm so aggravated. I am so tired of people blaming the guns instead of why are these people picking up the guns? I'm a huge advocate of mental health awareness, and I've been through a long journey with a family member, and I have seen what is out there, and there is not a lot. There's not a lot of resources. It's not very affordable. I don't understand. And I know this is a broken record, but a lot of people say, well, if you kill somebody with your car, is it the car's fault? No, it's the person driving the car. Wow. So why are we putting so much against? I know why. There's always an agenda, but I'm so tired of not having the bigger picture looked at and people getting the help that they need. She was obviously troubled, and I guess but the funny thing was, I guess now that I'm saying this out loud, she was getting help from a pastor at her church, and she ended up killing his little girl. I've
heard it both ways. I'm not sure if it's definitive, because I thought I saw something that was trying to debunk that.
I wasn't sure. I haven't seen it debunked yet, but I saw it, and you never know what to believe because, I learned my lesson years ago with that young kid with the MAGA hat on who got yelled at. Cannoli, help me out with that.
Oh, the one. I can't think of the guy with the Native American guy. Was in his
but I was showing Cannoli. I was like, oh my God, look at this. This is awful. And sure as shit, 2 days later, it was
he got a big settlement out of that.
No, I know, but you can't believe what you see all the time, and that really put into perspective. So I really am careful first before I make a judgment.
Right.
But you know, the interesting thing is at first I was like, oh wow, now you have an actual woman who's doing the shooting, because there was a stupid comedian a few weeks ago. I played it on my podcast. She's so delusional. She was like, if a lot of the mass shootings are done by men, why don't we just prohibit men from getting guns? Yeah.
What about the women who want to be men, like this one?
Well, that just happened. So there you go.
Well,
now you have it.
They should be banned as well then, right?
Suppose you would think.
Listen, it's just the stupidity of this country. I've seen so much stuff in the last week about kids being harmed with transgender ideologies and all these things. And it's just, I'm sick to my stomach. I don't understand. This country is just, we're in a lot of trouble. And yeah, guns are a little bit a part of it. But if we look at the bigger picture as to what is making somebody so angry that they want to go and kill a bunch of innocent people. Yes, mental health is important. I'm sorry.
In this situation, the person was even one of the people she shot was she was getting counseling from.
That's what I just said. But there's okay. So there's two sides to that, and that's what Roma was saying. We're not sure. I read an article that she was getting counseling from the pastor, and the person went in and shot the pastor's little girl. But then I read that the person was also looking for the pastor to kill that person. So, yeah. And Steven's right. I was too naive for too long. And then it's really stupid. But the Trump administration, the first go around and all that, taught me a lot about politics and looking at the bigger picture and researching myself, because I didn't understand a lot of it. And I want to make my own judgment. But at the end of the day, this country needs so much mental health, especially after COVID. COVID really did a number on people who were already on the brink of a breakdown. And now, and two, I just, I don't know. But I read that wrong. It was Mrs. to the icky, not R2.
Oh, hello, Mrs.
Yes, Mrs. I read that really quickly. I apologize. But she is right. Mental health is... If we made it so much easier for people, and also the medication, that's what
Cope was talking about. Yeah.
But I know I really hate that we have to medicate for mental health, but it is important. I've done a lot of research, but it's also really unobtainable too. It's not always affordable under insurance. There was 1 year that my daughter needed medication, and her just to have health insurance, so we pay a premium and all that stuff. She had a medication deductible, and I'm in healthcare, and I never heard of this. She had a prescription deductible of $650. So to get her first month's prescription in January of that year, the deductible plus the medication, it was $850 for 1 month.
Jeez.
1 month of medication. Now let me ask you. How is the average? Now I needed help. I had to ask family. I don't have $850 sitting around to get medication. But how is the average person supposed to help somebody when they can't afford medication? So I really think that I'm really tired of the things that we're giving all this money to Ukraine. We're giving all this money to other countries when our country is hurting. And I could go on a soapbox. I'm sorry, but I just want to back up and say, yes, guns can be an issue if they're in the wrong hands. Let's figure out why they're in the wrong hands. Let's help those people, because this girl could have been helped.
Yeah, I mean, look at what Subtle Deviancy is saying here. And the mayor of Sandy Hook vetoed a mental health bill for outpatient mental care.
Good.
And
there you go. All right. Good job.
So,
good job.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. We're really just in a weird place.
This is too. This is another thing too. You have to, and that's another way that the government wants to get us is if you want to do the sex change and it's all paid for, like, Vex Electronica says in Canada, they'll pay for it 100% for you to convert. But the whole thing of it is you are a slave to the pharmaceutical company, because you have to take estrogen or testosterone in order to keep up appearances. And so it's just, They're too worried about that. I see so many things about support transgender, do this and do that. What about the people that have mental health issues that need support? Where are those people? Oh, wait, I know where they are. They're becoming transgender because they're fucking nuts and they don't know what else to do. There you go. That's my point. I'm sorry. I'm really sensitive to the mental health issue because it's exhausting. And I'm so tired of all these shootings being about guns and not why we're doing it. These people need help. They're crying for help.
Oh, it's like I said, though, I get back to the mental health and gun thing. If someone, especially someone who, I'll say mentally deranged, disturbed.
Yeah, sure.
If they have those issues, and like was said in chat, I only caught for a moment there. When you're pumping someone full of drugs that their body's not meant to handle, and they've probably already got some other things going on on top of that, it's a recipe for disaster. And if they really want to attack someone, like a couple years ago now, I think it was at Ohio State, I think someone went out there with a machete after people. If I recall, it was either a machete or a hatchet. I know it wasn't a firearm. It wasn't a regular knife. And again, it's off the top of my head. But if someone wants to do these things, they're going to.
Exactly. Yeah. They're going to do it.
But another part of the problem is they closed a lot of these facilities down. We used to have, I can't think of the name of the place, but it's the next town over, used to have pretty sizable mental health campus. I think it was, in-house, and they shut that down. And once they shut that down, you saw a lot more police interaction with these individuals because
they were probably on the streets now. They probably had nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm. If they weren't on the streets, then even if they were living with family, for whatever reason, they weren't getting their meds. And then when they're not getting their meds, and they're spiraling, and then they're out on the street going haywire. And then you have these policies now. They actually enacted it in the town I mentioned, or I believe they were going to, where they were going to send out these, specialists with the police. And like, man, I'm just waiting to hear that one of these poor people that are not police officers got shot or stabbed by one of these people, because they're out there like, now don't do this. And I know things are rough right now. Like, dude, they're holding a knife. Like, how about you let the cop handle that? And, then you can talk to them when they're detained.
You know what else is really scary too? It was making me think of these institutions or these places that are supposed to help you. So, I know somebody who was, contemplating suicide, not sure if they wanted to do it or not. But definitely there was a scare. So this person was, admitted to a facility to be, evaluated and helped. Well, it turns out that this facility doesn't teach the person how to deal with what they're experiencing. They just make sure that they're not going to kill themselves, and then they just let them go. They don't teach them. They don't give them the tools to deal with what made them feel suicidal to begin with. They just go, oh, we just wait until everything's cleared up and we feel like they're not at a harm for themselves, and then we let them go. So there's really no good institutions that help you get through your suicidal feelings and then teach you how to deal with these feelings if they come up. So I don't understand. And there's a lot of these places. I've done a lot of research too, and there's a lot of these places that just make sure you're not going to off yourself. And once the coast is clear, then you go back and you have to manage everything on your own. We need to help people and teach people how to deal with these feelings, these thoughts that they're having. And it's just really sad, but you're right. They keep them for a couple of days in these facilities. They either shut down or they let them go. And then it's the police's problem. And that's why I think it's so funny that they want to ban the police or defund the police. when they have there's so many ways around this. If they would just start at the bottom level and work their way up, they would avoid a lot of bullshit.
They don't want to, though. That's the problem. They don't want to put the money and resources.
It's so complicated. I am just a regular woman with life experiences. How come I fucking understand it? Excuse my language, but how come I understand what happened? And the government is just so stupid.
Well, they're not stupid. They just don't care. They're not going to try to help the people. They want to bring down the people. They want to. That's a lot of people feel. They want to just dumbify everything and make it very hard for the citizens and
send money overseas.
Send money overseas.
Let's just keep talking about guns, though. But here's the thing, too. Every single time there's a shooting, every single time we hear the same friggin' argument. Nothing is ever done. If you want to ban the guns, ban them already. But guess what? You can't.
It's never going to happen.
That's my point. Well, so if that's not going to work,
they've done it before.
They have done, with the assault weapons ban back.
Right. No, I get that. But it's like if what you've been trying to do for years and years,
but it didn't stop. They're gonna in their mind, it did help prevent mass shooting, but it didn't really help anything.
No,
didn't. No. So didn't decrease crime. It didn't. Shit still happens.
That's what it's like. They're supposed to be so smart, and they're supposed to be running this country.
Well, I don't know about smart.
No, but okay. The thing is,
corrupt. Maybe
you would hope that the people who are in charge. Well, I guess here's the naive part of me again. You would hope that the people in charge would want the best for us.
Well, they're going to tell you.
Oh, I know. R2's right. It's just bullshit. It's so stupid.
Well, it's been an ongoing thing, and I don't remember the whole thing. There was something on Twitter, and I was talking about the Virginia Tech thing and handguns and that, and then someone else had brought up the AR situation again, and I was like, well, if you really want to even go further than that, back in '66 at the University of Texas was Charles Whitman, the Tower killings. The guy was a trained military sniper.
Oh.
And he sat up there picking people off, and it wasn't an AR. There were several guns now that I don't recall what all he used. Some of them I wasn't even familiar that he had with them, but he actually had killed his wife, and was either his mother or her mother beforehand. Mm-hmm. Then went to the campus of Texas, University of Texas, climbed the tower and started opening fire from up there. There's been several things depicted off of that. And that was clear back in '66. And, God only knows what he saw in the military in that.
Well, you know what? That's to piggyback off of that. That's another gripe of mine. These men serve for our countries. They come back all messed up from what they've seen, and they don't get the help that they need either. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do get help. I will say, our friend that Cannoli was mentioning, they do get help with housing, like help with loans and stuff. And they do get, he's got a lot of amazing opportunities as well. But I've just heard like our VA hospital here and stuff. It's very hard to be seen. It's very hard to get the care that you need. It's really hard to get jobs sometimes when you come back. I feel like our veterans also need to be taken care of. And I feel like maybe that's why that happened with that gentleman, because he came back and you don't know where you belong. You don't know where to pick up where your life left off. And so I feel bad, not to excuse what they did, but I feel like once again, people get left behind that need the help and do these horrible things. And then we blame the guns instead of going, well, maybe we could have helped this guy. What was the problem? It makes me sad.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, Stephen Ransom's right.
Yep.
We have slaves of leaders, and we know the actual politicians don't run things. So it's like, and even you, Roma, you have kids, right? So it's like them growing up in a society like this, it's difficult to navigate the waters, man, because it's like you want to teach them what's right and wrong, and then they're being told another thing in society and schools. So it's like, I'm pretty sure based on just talking to you, you're doing the right thing, but it's like, is it stressful to you to know that whatever you tell them and teach them, and you're hoping that they do the right things, they're smart enough? It seems like they're good kids, well-rounded, they're intelligent.
This kid here knows
this kid is my hero. This is my hero. I love this kid already. I love him.
That's impressive.
Yeah, but for them to go out into the real world and see this stuff, but it seems like they got good head on their shoulders. So you did a good job there, buddy.
Nice. We do the best we can. And unfortunately, there's conversations you have to have with them anymore too. Especially like the school thing. Like I said, the one here that's still in chat, he recently, and they didn't even notify us, there was some threats at his school. And, you just, unfortunately, all you can do is do your best. And, thank God nothing bad came of it. Like I said, just all you can do is try to prepare them the best that you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's true. You like I said, you do the best you do the best you can, and you hope for the best. Of course, there's going to be mistakes made. That's just life. That's just being a human being. But hey, Static, thanks for dropping by, buddy. Yeah. Speaking of this, are we talking about having a birth stream in the?
Yeah, I just read that.
I was reading through the. Wow.
I don't know what the hell's going on.
Copa, are we gonna have a birthing stream? I mean, I'm down. I don't, you could have the camera, No, he's like, Rum was like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, no, I remember my oldest. I was not properly prepared for the birth of my oldest with what to expect, and I looked over and saw more blood than I ever thought I would ever see come out of his mother, and I was good. I about passed out because I was not expecting.
I see my organs because
she had to have a C-section. So the doctor pulls me in. She goes, "You can come see us pull out the baby, but be warned. It's not like the movies, right? This isn't a horror movie. It's not, you're not prepared." I was like, "No, I'll be okay. And so they brought me into the room, and they're taking out her insides, literally as I'm standing over this way, and they have that. Like whatever
the drape.
A drape in front of her. And
I couldn't see it, which was
great.
Great.
So I'm not really, I can hear it, but I can't. So the doctor's like, "Do you want to see your baby?" And I'm like, "Okay." So I'm like, peek my head around, and it's like, it was one of those moments. It was like the greatest moment in your life, but the most disgusting at the same time. So you don't know how to act. So I was like, "Oh, there's her intestines, but there's my girl," and I'm like, trying not to like gag and like not be and I'm trying to be happy and not throw up at the same time. And I'm like, yeah, so can we put the baby on this side over here so I don't have to see that? But
it's gross.
The birthing process is very interesting. And then of course C-section, the recovery time was a long time. So Copa, don't film that, please. We don't need to.
Right.
No, I don't need a play-by-play. I just need the I can't wait till she punches you in the face and yells, "Why did you do this to me?"
That'd be great.
Oh, that I would pay to see. That I'd watch this. I'd love to see on the stream.
That surprisingly didn't happen to me either time somehow.
Really? It's good.
Yeah. I expected it, I was kind of like, I was prepared, I'm like, my hand's going to get crushed. I'm going to get yelled at. Surprisingly didn't happen.
Right. Yeah, it is interesting though how your perspective changes because Copa, this is his first child, and it's funny how your perspective on the world changes when you do have a kid though. The selfishness that you had for things, it just dissipates. Maybe not initially for some, but over time, because you do have to give up your time, and then you just stop caring about things that you used to do before because you want to spend time with your kid and all that. And growing up with a girl was interesting because there was a lot of, even though she did like to watch some of the same stuff I did. She wasn't into sports as much, so you kind of had to navigate and watching the princess movies and taking her to these movies with her friends.
She would watch. Remember when she would put on a princess dress and watch the Hulk with you?
Yeah, like it was weird. Like, yeah, she put on her princess dress and watched the Hulk and Godzilla with me, and I was like, okay, this is fun.
Compromise.
That's 100% it. But yeah, and we only have the one, and probably will only, at this point only have the one kid. But yeah, it's interesting how your whole ideal changes when you have kids, and it's a big, and that's a problem now where a lot of people. I don't want to necessarily say that everybody's selfish. Maybe if you don't want to be a parent, you don't have to be. But the whole idea of, you hear this younger generation of girls, especially, like, no, I want it to just be about me, my life, my future. I don't want to be locked down by children financially, mentally, physically. But you really don't know much about yourself until you have kids. Like, that's the whole part of maturing. So how do you feel about, like, do you think those people are selfish in some manner? Is it like, it's having a kid changes things. So
I mean, I wouldn't say selfish. I think it's a decision for everyone to make, really. Obviously there's some people who will see without kids and will say, oh, thank God they do not have children. So
yes,
that works out. And again, I'll be honest, because like I say in my videos, I try to be very open about things. There was a few things that I always knew, oddly enough, from a young age. I wanted to be a father. I wanted to get married, have a house and kids, and be a cop. Unfortunately, my body said, when it came to being a cop, it just didn't work out. And unfortunately, it didn't work out between the boy's mother and I. But I always kind of knew, and I'm constantly reminded by my mother that I used to joke that I wanted like 10 boys and 10 girls.
Oh my God.
Keep in mind, I was like 5.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
But like, I always kind of knew, and I think it's just different. And I hate to bring up the quartering, but I saw he got mad on Twitter one day that people were always telling him it's different when you're a parent. And again, I brought it up in one of my videos talking about my oldest son, that it changed for me, that for me, and maybe it was the same with you guys, is like, when my ex was pregnant, you're not grasping it initially. Like, yeah, you're thinking like, oh, I'm about to be a parent. But once you hold your child for the first time, and it's like gravity just smacks you, and you're like, I'm, more important now. Like, this is my child. I'm responsible for this. And everything just kind of changes. So I don't think people are necessarily selfish. I know, like I said, I mentioned the quartering. I don't know what his deal is as far as why his wife and he does not have children. But at the same time, I think those individuals need to understand where we're coming from as parents.
Sure.
That, if I didn't have kids, I could be selfish as and I'm,
oh God, we all could,
go out and do whatever, but I wouldn't be out here telling parents like, oh, don't tell me I don't know. Like, I would know that I don't know shit if I wasn't a parent. I wouldn't even try to lecture a parent on anything.
Yeah.
Now, granted, if I was damn near 40 and had been watching nephews and nieces all my life, maybe I might call you out on something, but
yeah, I agree with you there. As long as you're not trying to be preachy to me, if you don't have to do anything. You don't want you, like my boss, Stovepipe, is in the chat. We joke around. He's going to be in his mid-30s next year, and he just doesn't know if he wants them. And I don't really in the times that we're in, I can see the hesitation, and then just not wanting to bring up a kid maybe in this world. So that's not selfish to me. That's just more of having an awareness maybe that it's just going to be very tough for that child. But he listens to me when I vent and talk or just want to talk about my kid and some of the issues, just general stuff. He doesn't ever lecture. He's good about that. So he's one of those people that's not sure, but he's not going to lecture. But I do know people. No, bro, I want the cash. I mean, there you go. There you go. Like, that's what I mean. It's financially, it's a massive, yeah. But I think you're right, Roma. It's just that whole thing of where it turns immediately like, wow, I am not the most important thing. So you do learn to let go of some of that selfishness. I don't mean like the kind of bad way you're selfish. It's just, you got to kind of just, it teaches you patience, man. I'm still an impatient person, but I was much worse before I had my daughter. Now
you passed it on to her because she is extremely.
Oh, she is my clone, man. She is so me. And that's we clash a lot and we get in arguments because we think alike. Yeah. So you know how they say when you're exactly like your parent, you're going to clash a lot. It happened with my brother and my dad. They're very alike. So, yeah, I mean, we're just in a weird time, and to navigate these waters with being a parent is very tough. And I used to think, the hesitation, maybe that's more on you. Now I'm like, oh God, I can kind of see it now going forward. Because somebody brought up a great point to me too the other day. It's like, we're having our generation, the middle-aged people are having it tough. What the hell's going to happen to our kids? Like, what kind of jobs are they going to have? How are they going to survive financially? Even if you're setting them up or you're doing well, now you got AI taking jobs from people in the near future here. And it's like, what the hell do you do as a parent? Like, where do you guide these kids? What professions are going to be available when they're out of college in 10 years, 15? It's like, what do you do? So a lot of anxiety. I was thinking about that today. And I don't know how you feel about that, but it's like, it's kind of scary to think of what the hell. But I guess you just got to take it day by day.
I mean, again, the oldest kid, he's a sophomore now, and I'm pretty open with him because he keeps telling me he's going to take off to Texas. And I'm like, I've been kind of talking to him a bit about college. We actually had a discussion earlier because I'm like, maybe you should go to tech, like, instead of just up and moving there, like maybe try and go to college there, maybe not necessarily UT because it's probably massive. I mean, obviously I've never been there, but maybe like a smaller one or, like a skilled trades. And I've also been open with them about the military. And, it scares me to death that he could go and have to fight, but I've also been very open with him again because of my family in there. I'm like, if, and I've strongly emphasized if, but I'm like, look, yeah, I just saw what he said.
I saw, yeah, my cousin graduated from UT. I give him shit all the time about it. So
hey, there you go. Yeah, I've been very open with him about it. I'm like, look, I'm not saying you have to go into the Army or anything. Do Air Force or whatnot. If you'd rather do that, you could even go into the Air Force and do like the drone program. But I'm like, look, if you do go into the military, you could try going to these different places. And I know the Army has at least Fort Hood or whatever down there in Texas. If you go into the military, they'll pay to house you while you're down there. Every so often, when you get leave, you'll get to go and explore a bit of the state. Find out if you really like it. Don't just move there. And if not, maybe every few years, you'll get moved around a bit. And we actually, like I said, we just had the conversation earlier tonight. And I was like, think about it this way. Maybe you'll bounce around to a few different places and you don't have to re-up when you're 4 years or whatever it is now is over. And you can say, hey, Dad, I really liked X place more than Y place. So I think I want to move there. And, I pointed out to him, like, you can get maybe you can even get both. When his mother and I were together, we had the first time home, whatever it's called, FHA loan. I was like, dude, if you went in the military, they'll pay for your school. You could get the VHA loans. I try to be very honest with him as he's getting older about opportunities that he could have, because he's in a hell of a lot better shape than I was at age. Like I said, I was in high school. I was probably about 6'3" something, and he's probably a good 6'2", 6'3" now, and only 2 something. He has, as of right now, he has a lot more opportunity than I was looking at. So I try to be pretty open with them.
Yeah, that's good. And I think you're right. The military does offer some great benefits. Like I said, my buddy who came out, I mean, he saw stuff, and it was, it was, I wouldn't say, he says it's like the best of times for him, and some of it was the worst he's ever seen, right? Obviously, he was an infantry soldier, so he saw a lot of shit overseas, but coming out of it, the benefits. I mean, like you said, he doesn't his home loan, his medical's paid for 100%. I mean, there's a lot of advantages there. It's not a bad thing. So that's a definite avenue that, if I had a kid, again, like if I had to do it again, I'd be like, that's maybe something you should look into, just because of but you're right. The whole idea of, God forbid, someday they having to go fight a war or something, but the likelihood of that might be small, but definitely something that, is he saying he's 6'3", 237? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah, sounds about right. I he's a bit bigger than me now, height wise. In that he's big. He's a big kid.
I got my my buddy Filipino Meatball. He's one of the hosts on the female perspective too, and he's on my show sometimes. He might be. By the way, I'm going to shout out this channel, AZ Wiffle Ball. I used to play wiffle ball as a kid before baseball. It's a lot of fun, but they have a new YouTube channel, so please go check out AZ Wiffle Ball on YouTube. They're just starting out, so the support there is great. I'm all about supporting new people in the creative process and then on this platform. So, and I am not telling Meatball, I am not holding him. He's like 4'11", so holding him won't be tough. Yeah, he's a midget. But I agree with you there. It's just, it's again, it's tough because I think I don't know, man. The military, even the military, is starting to change now with some of their policies and things they're doing. It's just a weird time we live in.
Well, here you go. R2 had a perfect point here.
Heard that the drill sergeants are no longer yelling at the recruits in boot camp. The Babylon Bee is right. China and Russia will defeat the U.S. military by just saying the wrong pronoun. Yeah, that does worry me a little bit. Where these countries,
doubt they weren't getting soft because people get offended so easily, and if our military is going to be soft, we're screwed.
You hope it doesn't come to a point where we have to use them, but it's like, what do we do? Like, the people who are with these pronouns and the sensitivity train, it's like, what do we do when China and Russia, they don't give a shit. You see some of their training videos, if you watch them on YouTube or whatever, it's scary.
Oh, here we hardcore.
They're nuts. And like we have our videos talking about, inclusion and gay parents, and then this one woman's going to college to break the female stereotypes while she's in the army, and I'm like, oh god, that's not what it's about, man. And you got Russia and China over here. They're getting the shit kicked out of them in their boot camps, and it's like, I don't know. It really worries me. So in that aspect, since you cover some of this stuff, do you actually see a point where things do switch back and get better, or are we just down this trajectory now where it is what it is and Rome is burning and just kind of do the best you can, or do you see it improving at any point in the future?
And I think as far as the cultural war goes, it's going to be a long slog, unfortunately. I hope things will change, at least on the world stage. What I mean by that, like the Ukraine thing, and that obviously just what we can go off of from recent history. During the Trump years, it probably was the quietest, and I'd brought it up when we had Bush Sr., we had Desert Storm, Clinton, you at least have the Kosovo thing in 99, then we had 9/11 and Iraq and Afghanistan, and that continued through Obama. It's unfortunately, war is sort of a perpetual thing. It might be now.
I think now it is. What's the T? Yeah, this T stand. Well, it's not. It's Vex Electronic would say it's low T. We need to get more T into the men in the world. But yeah, I think you're right. I think, especially as far as entertainment goes, where people have such a hard time. I was just reading an article not now, but earlier about Bounding into Comics was talking about this new show coming out. Secret Invasion for Marvel, and it's going to have political themes and talk about the times that we're in. It's like you can't just make
stop with that. Can we just watch stuff to escape reality? Reality is what we go to movies and funny TV shows and all that stuff for. I don't need a friggin' message. If I want a message, I'll go find it somewhere else, but I don't want it in my entertainment anymore.
Yeah, the whole thing with the entertainment thing is very frustrating because I don't know how you feel, Roma. But maybe you're not as. I'm more on alert now where I see anything I think I'm gonna like. I go, yeah, but what's the messaging behind this? Like, what am I gonna see in this? So I have to wait sometimes for things I want to see and watch people on YouTube, like you guys, or people I respect, and go, okay, they said it's good. There's no messaging. It's basically like giving us an okay. Like, all right, now I believe that it's good. But it's hard to navigate because I don't know how you feel, but do you get to that point where you're like, oh, this looks good, but
oh yeah, no, I definitely do, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm a bit of a weeb. I do watch a lot of anime.
It's fine.
But yeah, as you were mentioning the Secret Wars thing, it kind of just popped in my head, and I think that's where they kind of screwed up. Really, is when you think back to the first Avengers movie. It was just really more about, we've got this alien invasion and the Loki thing, and how do we stop that? But now it's like, well, we need to make this female Black Panther who's like a twig and looks smaller than my youngest son. Somehow she's going to survive to getting run through the midsection, and we're going to change everything. And they're too concerned with those sort of things. Trying to, check off the boxes is how I really feel about it, because, they went and switched a bunch of stuff for that movie that made no sense. 'Cause I'm not a comic book expert. I'll be the first one to admit it. But if even I know the way that something was written, then it's bad. If I can sit there and go, hey, that's different and weird. And why?
Well, it's noticeable to people who are willing to accept that it's noticeable. I mean, I'm like you. I'm not the biggest comic book aficionado. I go to other people on the platform that I've learned, that I've learned to be friends with on this platform, who are much bigger experts than me. So I'll ask them after I see a movie or something, does this what is true, what's not, what's in the comic, what's not, and that actually makes me more infuriated. Because they really they deviate so far off the beaten path off the comic. Even I know some changes might have to be made to make it an adaptation for a movie or a show, but God, I got to a point where even with Disney, I just had to stop watching their stuff, their shows. I tried watching one episode of that Captain and the Winter Falcon, Captain America, whatever the hell that was. I couldn't get through it. The messaging was so heavy-handed.
No, we liked it.
And no, I did not like it. The first episode was okay. Like, it didn't have the message.
I thought we watched.
I'm sorry. No, it was 2 episodes. The first episode was a little boring, but it was okay. The second episode was the tropes of Falcon. He's a black man in America who can't get a loan for a house because he's black, even though he was an Avenger, but everybody else around him is. I was like, and then the whole police thing was kind of thrown in there because I was like, oh my God. So I stopped. And then I watched later on people doing reviews on it, and it got so bad by the end how he's preaching to senators and we have to do better. And I'm like, oh my God, man.
Oh yeah. No, man, I watched She-Hulk. So if you want to talk.
Oh God. God bless you, sir.
I thought about doing a review thing with that a while back, but
the twerking. It was the twerking, wasn't it?
I did get some good memes out of that though back when I was doing more of that. I did make some good things with that, so I'll give them that much. But I think I felt like the dude who couldn't die from the one scene that just completely walked right out the window and into traffic. I was like, that's me watching this.
Yeah, there's that, and I gave up on The Mandalorian. I never thought it was a great show, but it was entertaining. And then the whole Gina Carano thing. And then now, even with Copa and Joker Voice and a few other people who were reviewing it, it's a mess. And it's just, they don't know how to write themselves out of these issues, these situations. It's bad writing. Like you said, they have to get their talking points and their checkboxes marked. It's very frustrating. So when you do, and then Copa, Copa was in the industry. He knows. He always explains this, that we're at a point where the content's been so bad for so long that anything that's even remotely decent seems great, and that's even more dangerous. because we're going to lift up these mediocre things, and then
Mm.
that's why you get a lot of movies that like last year. He was even saying, like, could you name the last year or a few years, like 2 or 3 really great movies? And I don't mean just good movies. I mean like great top-notch movies that have come out. I'm like, I can't. I mean, a freaking Indian movie I watched last year, Triple R, was probably the best movie I saw all year, and it's not even an American movie. And it's like, I don't know. The Northman, there's a few things I could have picked out, but not like it used to be, where you could be like, oh, there's like 7, 8 good movies in a year that could win best. Now it's just crap. And then the movies that are winning best picture, I never heard of before. It's like these very obscure movies. So I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm at the point now where there's almost like too much content, and I don't even know where to start anymore, what to watch. I'm afraid to watch anything. So it's kind of
We
frustrating.
don't watch anything anymore. It's terrible. Everything sucks.
I don't think I watched any of the contenders this go around, to be honest with you.
I don't think I did. We didn't either.
I kind of want to see Elvis, but I'm not sure if I could sit through that long of a movie.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind watching, what is that? Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Oh,
that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, you should. You would like that.
It's not bad.
It's not a waste of time.
It's not really woke. It's pretty funny. It's unique. It does that multiverse thing, but in a unique way.
Weird, but in a good way.
So if I had a recommended based, like what we were just talking about, like people recommending movies, I it's weird, but it works. If that makes any sense.
It's worth the watch for sure.
So I'd say if you haven't seen it, it's probably worth some of your time.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah, definitely. I didn't know what the hell I was watching at first. It's really
it's weird. No, it's weird. I'm trying to think of any other recent.
There might be dancing penis hands. I'm not sure.
Hot dog hands. Yeah, that's the
hot
universe.
dog hands.
Oh yeah, that's one of the.
Oh, I saw Doctor Strange last year. I was trying to think of what else I've even really seen.
You poor soul.
Yeah, that was.
I watch a lot of old stuff now. I just go back to rewatching a lot of older movies.
I just watch my friends on YouTube now. How about that?
Well, that's become a big thing, honestly. That's another thing that's changing the media landscape. Is I watch YouTube more than anything, especially growing in the community and meeting people. I'd rather spend more time watching live shows like this or other people's videos than actual TV shows that are made by these big production companies now. But I'm trying to think. Oh, I watched Ant-Man because I was going to be on a show and talk about it, and that might have been the worst experience I've had this year so far.
Oh, the new one.
The new one was so bad. I liked them. Hey, Gandalf and Denim. How you doing, buddy? It was probably the worst movie I've seen in the last 5 years. And there's a lot of bad movies in the last 5. That was so bad. And then the problem is too, you got these normies who are just like, oh no, it was better than Thor: Love and Thunder. I was like, that's your standard?
Oh, I saw that. Yeah,
and that was terrible.
Yeah, it was bad too.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's sad because like you said, coming from the original Iron Man to where we are now, it's amazing.
I heard this was actually really good.
I've heard that's not bad if you like the animated stuff. The newest one.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. And then there was another one we watched on Netflix. It was the Pinocchio, the Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio movie.
Oh, that was good. That was heart-wrenching at the end.
It's freaking dark and it's depressing, but it's good. Yeah, I'm sorry, Thanks for Static's the reason why I had to watch Ant-Man. I was on a show he was on, and I had to watch it.
That's right.
I was so
It was all his fault.
I was literally depressed for 3 days after watching that.
Yep, it was his fault.
I wanted to jump off the roof.
Boo.
Yeah, boo is right. Yeah, so I guess we're just at this weird time. But entertainment, like you said, is an escape. Even like I said, now that baseball's back, I'm watching that now, thank God. And it's a distraction. What else do you do? Like, what other hobbies do you have? Do you try to distract yourself? I know you got kids, so like, do you do anything with them specifically, or do you just kind of have your own besides YouTube?
Not enough, unfortunately. Actually, I rather enjoy cooking. Nice. I haven't got to discuss a whole lot. I'm not sure I'm very good at it, but it's enjoyable.
It takes practice. You'll get there. It takes practice.
I like trying the new stuff, and I have like a lot of people ask me like, what's my favorite dish? And like at one moment it'll be something like chicken adobo. If you haven't had it, it's a Filipino meal. That's
Sounds
really
good, yeah.
good. But then, like, I'll try something new and I'll be like, oh, that's amazing. I don't know how they came up with it. And so I like doing that. And, now that you mentioned baseball, I know the boys are going to be hounding me to take them. We've got what are they? I think they're AA nearby, a AA program
Baseball.
that's
Mhm.
affiliated with the Reds. Probably take them to a couple of games.
Yeah,
this year.
minor league games are fun. I like minor league games.
Oh yeah, to me I'm not that into baseball, but like it's enjoyable live.
Yeah,
Like if I
but
go
much
there,
better sport live. Yeah.
I can handle it. It's when and it's got to be bad if they're implementing all these new things to speed it up.
Oh yeah, I was just on the stream the other day on Left Eye Ego stream about baseball and the rule changes, and yeah, we were saying how the younger generation just doesn't care about the sport. They're losing fans, and it's games are
Mhm.
taking 3.5 to 4 hours, and they just kind of let things get out of hand. And
We have a question for you. I know you said you're not married anymore, but were you?
No.
Okay,
I'm
because
not
I believe
opposed.
R2 is. That's why he's asking.
No, I would. I'm not opposed, but no, I was not.
Okay.
Like I said earlier, my dad served in Vietnam, and he got really into chicken adobo. I guess he must have initially had it over there. And when I started taking up the cooking a few years ago, he had me make it for him, and I kind of came up with my own version of it. I just don't get to make it as much as I would like to.
So
I
is there
was
any
going to
other?
ask you too.
Yeah.
Are you used to do all the memes and stuff? Do you want to get back into that, or have you
Oh, I
thought
still
about?
I still do a little bit. I'm just not as like dedicated to it as I was. Like earlier or late last night, I don't know, it all blurs together. I had made one where I switched out an old prison movie and I put like Trump on one guy and he's like punching out Biden, and every so often I'll still do it when the mood hits, but
So
probably
I should expect a meme coming out in the near future of with my face doing something stupid and foolish.
I mean it might happen.
I love that's good. That's good. That's a sign of respect. I like it.
Do you miss doing all that stuff like you did before, or are you just burnt out because you didn't get the traction you want, or it didn't go as well as you wanted before?
Well, before hit it was kind of it was for me as far as the YouTube portion went. I was kind of
Right.
just messing around. I miss some of the guys that I don't get. There was before I left, there was like 32 of us
Oh wow.
ish in the group. So yeah, I miss a couple of them guys. Like I had to
Makes sense.
update my logo there, the one you guys have for the thumbnail. I recently, because apparently you have to beat people over the head to get them to realize who you are.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yes, I would not be surprised if I have a half sibling in Vietnam.
R2.
Given my father, I would possibly Vietnam, possibly Mexico too.
All right,
God.
or one of each. You never know.
International. I like it.
Maybe a couple of each somewhere. Yeah, I mean, it's a good group of guys. Like I mentioned earlier, I still talk with several of them. Dermy Wormy, Soldier Spirit. Sumo does a lot of memes, and Rastercaster. I talk with them, and Soldier's got his thing that he does, the vets talking. Shout out to them guys, and Dermy's got a channel, and I think a lot of us have kind of been branching out. Like I said, I left the group. Kind of wanted to do my own stuff, and I had that health scare, and just kind of rebooted and came back into it. And like I said, I never thought it would get anywhere near this, especially since I think it was literally about a week before Brittany Venti and the Quartering got booted off of Twitter that I had even started my channel, and I was kind of just, screwing around and did the Velma thing again. But who knows? I've
You just never know. You hit the algorithm.
Well, yeah, but you're killing it right now.
Yeah.
What were up to, like 500 and what was it, 40 subs already? So
Five,
I thought I saw.
Tell you what, got my phone right here.
I know it was pretty damn good.
They like to mess with me. 565.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Nice.
It's such a quick turnaround. Yeah, and I like I said, man, you gotta. It's very similar to what's her name, Vex Electronica on my chat. Even Copa, they started not that long ago, and they just, when you're good, and people know it. And so I'm saying, for you to be at that number already is fantastic.
Oh, I mean, I'm incredibly thankful, and I'll be honest, I've kicked around streaming more. I think I did it once on my channel, and it was like my kid and Sumo in the chat. So I don't even know. I mean, you guys got a really good turnout. I'm not sure. I
got a great following. I do. It's kind of deceiving because you look at my channel's weird because I only do live streams right now. It grows in pockets. Like it goes it'll jump for a while and then slow. And then it'll get like a new group, which I'm fine with. I'm not complaining. It is what it is. I'm happy to be where I'm at. I know if I did videos, it would increase. With the extra weeks in between now, live shows on Fridays, I might start delving into some of that. But
because you used to do a lot. He used to do a lot of clips from the shows.
Yeah, and the clips did help. At least got eyes on things, because I have had people recently go, I really liked your live stream, but I had to cut out because 2-hour live stream here and there. It's hard to listen to a full stream like that.
Mm-hmm.
So the clips were a few minutes here, 10 minutes here about a subject or something, even funny stuff. So I think I have to get back into that. I just got to a point, and I don't know if you ever feel this way, but I got to a point with doing 2 shows a day and then going on other people's shows. There was weeks where I was doing 5-6 things in a week, and it's working full time, trying to have a life after work or in between with my family and have my own downtime. I got to a point where I tested my limits. There's one thing Copa always used to say that is a genius thing, is you don't know your limits until you test your limits. So you have to push yourself and see what you're capable of. And just recently, I'd say in the last 3 weeks, I was like, okay, I know where my limit is now. I could do better by limiting how many shows I'm doing on Fridays, especially now that I have Mrs. Cannoli here doing her own female show. Take a week off, come back, and it gives me more time to build, get more guests pushed out, make better content. I'll have more stuff to talk about, more content to talk about, because over a 2-week period, there's a lot of stuff going on. And then in between those weeks, clip out stuff, or even try to do a pre-recorded stream, of the video. So I wanted to take some of my time back because I'm doing a Monday show every week anyway, which I love, the movie review stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, doing that, it was just, it was, for me, it was a little much. But I look at the community I have. I mean, meeting somebody like you and all these other people, it's never would have happened if I didn't try this. So
right.
God bless you, man, for doing so well, dude. And like I said, watching your videos, it's well deserved. And I hope you keep going, man. You're going to be at 1,000 real soon. And the whole dream is to maybe someday do it because you love it, but hopefully if you make some money off of it too.
Mm-hmm.
Even supplement income is great. So do you have like a specific goal for the channel? Do you want to expand into other things, or are you just kind of like, I'm sticking where I'm at now and then worry about the future later?
I mean, I'd say it's kind of more that, because like I said, I didn't think that all this was going to happen, especially when I branched out on my own. I'm very much just kind of taking it as it comes, and I'll try and ask things on my community tab. And, given that I've only really been at it, it's about to be the first here, 2.5 months. And
wow,
unbelievable.
Sometimes I'm like, man, I'm doing really well, but then sometimes I'm like, I'm not, because sometimes, like you had mentioned earlier with information that you're given and advice. Well, I've got it both ways, like I actually just thought of this during probably the height of the Eliza thing. There was this individual that, and I don't mind name dropping her because she pissed me off. I think she got thrown off of YouTube. She goes by BX Bullet.
Okay.
I actually tried to be nice with her, and at the time, I was maybe putting out 2-3 videos a week.
Wow.
Maybe, just on the nights when I didn't have the boys. And this girl, and I have to say girl, she may be a lady, wasn't a lady.
We don't know.
She wasn't very ladylike. She has the nerve to call me a fed and a glowy. And she goes, look at the number of videos you're putting out. You're a fed. And I'm like, my boy Dermy's putting out like 3 or more a day. And I'm putting out 3 a week. And you're calling me this, that, and the other thing. And I'm trying to take it as it comes. I set a short-term goal for myself. Like I said, I never thought I'd hit 500. And then when I hit 500, I'm like, okay, I'll be surprised if I hit 550. And then I started getting near that. And then, I was just kind of screwing around. I was like, you know what? At the time, I was thinking 500 by my birthday. That just popped back in my head. And then I hit 500 well before that. And then I was like, you know what? It is slowing down a bit. We've talked about how the numbers have slowed down, and you never know what's up with the algorithm. But I was like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on it in increments. Right now, I'm going to try to hit 600 by April 16th, because I think when I came up with that, it was March 16th. And I was like, if I hit it, awesome. If not.
Oh, I think you're going to hit it and go past it, to be honest.
I appreciate it.
I really do. And you got a good, I was on the midweek hump Wednesday, and when I was checking out at the end of the stream, their year anniversary, I was telling everybody, like, when you do the shout outs, what you're going to have come out. I said, oh, I'm going to have RevRoma. Everybody was like, oh, wow, he's awesome. And of course, Hara Murata was talking you up. And I was like, yeah, I was like, I that's when you're doing something good. When you have a whole stream of people going, oh, him? Cool. You got him on your show? I'm like, yeah, I reached out to him because I saw his content. We're on Twitter. That's how I meet a lot of these people. We have a great rapport on there. It's funny. So I was like, yeah, I got to interview this dude or have him on. So little things like that, that's how you know that you're striking your chord. Because when people react that way, like, oh, wow, that's awesome. That told me everything I needed to say. I was like, okay, everybody likes this guy like I do. So,
right. Hey, like I said, I just try to be me, and I don't have a lot of experience being on these things. Even the past life, as I'll refer to it, I didn't do. I think I did before the Legion started their streams. I did one thing with the Gothic Therapy couple. They're real awesome. If you guys haven't talked to them,
Sure.
Shout out to both Master of the TDS and the Mrs. Riding Raven too. Real awesome couple. Got to meet them in Orlando. I did like their thing, and this was just last year. That was like my first ever stream. Right. So I'm in no way, shape, or form an expert at any of this stuff. This is what you're seeing right now is what you're getting in my videos or
no, that's what I like about it though. It's authentic. You're not putting on a show. You're not. I've seen people who do get on a stream, and I'm like, well, that's not how you act in your video because they're trying to just this overproduced. And I'm not saying it's not bad. It's not a bad thing to eventually hone your skills with your videos, but
right.
That's where my problem was though. Is I'm great. I get very comfortable on a live stream, but doing the pre-recorded thing, I would just look at the camera, notice it, and start talking like a robot. And I wouldn't be myself. And a lot of people were like, just talk to your fans like you're talking to them. Talk to the video like you're talking to your fans during a live stream. And you could always edit things out that you made mistakes on. I was like, yeah, it's a good point. I still haven't got back into it yet. So I'm the opposite of you. I'm actually trying to get back into that part of YouTube a little bit more. And the live streams to me are fun. They're great. I wish I could do them 5 days a week. They're fantastic. It's a comfort zone for me. But yeah, like I said, you do whatever you're doing it well. And like I said, I like your videos. I watch all of them fully through. And that's where too, I'm not checking out. Like where I always tell Copa and Vex and White Bear, like on my stream, like when I actually sit and stop and turn while I'm working and I'm busy and to actually pay attention a little more to what you're saying, it's not just background noise. That tells me you're doing a good job. So You're in that category.
Well, thanks.
But yeah, do more live streams. Do your own. I mean, it doesn't hurt. I mean, if anything, you'll just get better and better at them if you want to add something new to your repertoire. It's not, and I, any questions you have, whatever, shout out, man. I'm always available. Of course, I'm not an expert in any way. There's bigger people than me on the platform, but I'm always willing to help out people any way I can.
Yeah, that actually just made me think. I like sharing these funny little tidbits. I did have a guy who said something about. He's like, "Man, you should fire your thumbnail guy." And I was like, "All right, hold up. Let me go have a talk with myself." And then I came back. I was like, "Okay, I told myself that I wasn't too good at it. I didn't take it well. I think I might sue myself." I'm pretty upset with myself right now.
Yeah, Mrs. Cannoli's mine. I try doing. I can clip and edit. Even though it's a time consuming thing, it could be a little frustrating. It's still, I like it. Thumbnails, you should ask her. I try to do thumbnails, and I want to chuck the goddamn computer across the room. I don't know what it is.
Artwork and creating.
She's into that. She does great thumbnails, and I'm just like, how? It might just be like my mind. I can't think like she does, where she takes I'm going to add this because this would make sense, or it fits the story. I'm like, no, just throw this up and put it up. She goes, no, but that's not going to grab people. Right. I'm like, no, but my video will grab people. But I remember you have to get people in unless you have a built-in audience already. Yeah. Right. Filipino Meatball says he would sell me. And
thank you, sir. That's why he's on my show.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I would just say keep at it, man. Whatever you're doing is working. I think you're gonna go way past 600 subs in the next 3 weeks.
Let's just put it this way: we've been at this for almost a year in June, and we have how many subs?
I'm at 456, but like I said, I'm not doing videos. Saying,
it just goes to show what kind of content you're putting up. People love it, so you're doing great.
Yeah, and you're hitting on subjects people are talking about, and not, it's great. So hey, man, I think you're gonna, like I said, you'll be monetized way before you know it, and then once we all get monetized, we can have a big YouTube party and throw money in the air.
Right. Or at least go to more meetups.
Are you going to the one in Vegas, Roma?
I considered going to it, but it is actually on my youngest kid's birthday. So
gotcha. Okay.
I understand.
So I'll wait and see what they do. I wouldn't mind going back to Orlando. That was my first time in Florida and my first time flying, actually. Kind of scary first time flying. Short story there for you. First time flying, I was fine, but I remember I was nervous the night before, so I didn't sleep, and it was quite a distance from my house to the airport, and I got down there fine. I'm going to get on the plane, and I look over and I see this girl in an entire rainbow gear, but she looked like she was going to a rave, and I'm like, well, she looks like she's fun. Didn't think anything of it. So we start to take off, and I'm talking to myself. I'm going alone. I went by myself to Orlando, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, okay, this isn't so bad. Next thing you know, this girl comes running by me while we're ascending, and the stewardesses are like, ma'am, you can't be doing this. This is really dangerous right now. And I'm like, damn it. This is my first flight ever, and it's going to get turned around. Some girl she's so bad, apparently, that she can't hold it till we're level. And I was like, but of course. I wouldn't mind going to more meetups. I learned where to stay in Orlando. There's this nice place, and God help me, I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but I'll know it if I look it up. Panache something, I think, or the name of the road, and it's condos, but real nice place.
I would love to go to the Orlando one. I know the Vegas one for me is just I don't want to say short drive, but a 4 or 5 hour drive across the state line. So definitely going to that. I would love to go to Orlando, and think it's November this year they're doing it. So that would be awesome. I would love to do it as a family thing. It's just a matter of getting time off of work, number one, and then, like you said, finding places to stay. Who knows? You never know. Things do work out, so we'll see. It's always something to consider, of course. But I would love. I'm excited to. I was telling people I'm excited not just to meet the bigger YouTubers, but like the smaller groups, just people I've learned to, respect on here, and that's just gonna be great to hang out with a lot of these people face to face. And then to go to Orlando, even see more people on that side of the country that I wouldn't normally get to see. Even my own people on my own streams, like Monday, they all live in that Eastern time zone, Tennessee's, like the Georgias, and then one's in Canada who's moving to Florida eventually. So I'm like, man, it would be awesome to see these people face to face finally. But yeah, it's a great thing. It's a great thing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I got to meet the Gothic Therapy couple.
Yeah, they're good.
A couple of the Legion guys were there. I got to meet Horror and Sheep and Shagsworth and talk with them and talk with the Geeks and Gamers guys. I got to get pictures with everyone.
Awesome.
And by the way, let me just say that X-Ray Girl is really, really awesome, real sweetheart. And if you've never been to one of these things like I haven't been, you don't know what to expect. And like you were talking with authenticity, X-Ray Girl was awesome. Her and Gary and Jay, I think I got to spend the most time with, and they were just really authentic. And I hope that should I get to a bigger standing, that I remember the joy that I had, because what you're seeing right now is who I am. So if you can't handle my type of humor here, we may not get along in person.
Real life, no.
It's just going to be even worse.
Yeah. I agree. I think, you can get a lot of, if, like you said, if you are authentic, you're going to get that out in your videos. And especially if you live stream, you have almost no choice. People can see the fake bullshit immediately. So you might not like everything I say or think I'm funny, but it is me and it's us, and then, so I think it's great. I think you're killing it. I think you're going to continue to kill it. And again, thanks a lot for coming on, dude. This has been fun.
Yeah, it's
getting
been
to know
great.
you. Let's see here. What else? So what do you have coming up? You want to shout out anything, anywhere you're going to be or any videos you got coming up? Go ahead and do that, buddy, and get your name out there.
Really, I kind of do things in the spur of the moment, really. I probably will have some sort of video up tomorrow. Like I said, most of the time I do it when I don't have the kids. We'll see what goes on during Saturday. I mean, this week's been crazy.
A lot of stuff going on.
Unfortunately, it has been a lot of tragic stuff. But you can always find me on YouTube channel. Twitter is at the RevRoma King. Easy to find. Like I said, most of my stuff is spur of the moment, because if I try to plan something out, I'm going to think about it even more than I already do. And I'm going to get in my own head, and I feel like I won't be as authentic. So I kind of, if I see something and I go, hey, I want to talk about that, that's what I do.
Yeah, I totally get it, dude. Like I said, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. His links are in the description. So if you go in there, his Twitter, his YouTube is on there. Definitely look out for his videos. Subscribe to his channel, like the stuff, and hit that bell for him, because you want to definitely.
He's a good laugh on Twitter. I'm telling you.
He's hilarious. I love our group. No, you're hilarious. I love our little group dynamic and
for sure,
the funny shit that we do. So for Mrs. Cannoli Sasquatch, I know you have something coming up next week, so you want to shout that out?
Next Friday, the 7th of April, the first Friday of the month, is the Truly the Female Perspective podcast. We'll be back for our 3rd episode with Vex Electronica, Shiro, Filipino Meatball, and special guest Joker Voice. He's going to be on. And we have a lot. Oh my God. We have so much to talk about. You should see the Google Doc that Vex Electronica sent me.
It just keeps getting bigger. Well, they have like 3 weeks to prep for the show, so it just gets bigger.
And we just talk about how horseshit everything is. And you know,
Sure
just
is.
the women's perspective on things that, you know, we do not think like the majority of the women out there. So we give a different perspective on things, and it's a good time. So you can find us there on this channel next Friday, 6:05 Mountain Standard Time.
No, it's Pacific time, technically. That's the discussion. Me and him are like, well, I don't even know what time zones or what anymore.
Yeah, it threw me a bit.
It's like, what the hell?
No, I don't even know where I belong. I just, So that's it. That's it for us.
That's it for that. So again, definitely subscribe to RevRoma. He's awesome. For me, our Mischief Mayhem Movie Monday show is off on the 3rd. We're taking a week off, but we are coming back on the 10th with the group, and we're going to discuss the movie Cable Guy with Jim Carrey. Yeah, exactly. And then for me personally, on the Friday Cannoli Connection show with me and Mrs. Cannoli, we're working out a new schedule. So she will be on the 7th, and then I will not be back till the 21st with a special guest. And so we're going to rotate every other week going forward.
And we might do something special from Vegas that.
Yeah, we'll be in Vegas.
7, 26, 27.
26 to the 28th for the meetup. You can always find me on Twitter. Find Mrs. Cannoli on Twitter. Of course, my channel. I'm on Rumble as well. So follow us there. And that's pretty much it. RevRoma again, dude. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. It's been
great
fun.
time. Yeah. And then that's basically it. So we'll see you for the female perspective next week, and I will see you next time. Peace out, people.